Good morning, middle school students. And so I welcome you to the review of Topic 1, Lesson 1 of your math. And so this is both for 8th grade and 7th grade. And so I just happen to have the 7th grade journal guide up. So we are going to, during this time, go ahead and review the topic essential questions and the 3 examples that are within this lesson. And so it's really important that you be writing these down because this is all about your learning, and a reinforcement of your learning occurs through writing down what it is that you should be learning. Okay, and a journal is all about writing, so you should be writing these things down. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So our topic 1, or chapter 1 in math, is rational number operations. And the topic essential question is, how can the properties of operations be used to solve problems involving integers and rational numbers? Okay, so now let's go ahead and begin our review of the examples. These examples are really important because you essentially are learning to take a word problem and pull out the math that is within the word problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with this. So example 1, first of all, we have the essential question for lesson 1. And that is, how are integers and their opposites related? Okay, opposites are like 1 and -1. Okay, and you can substitute any number you want in there. So example 1, we want to combine opposite quantities to make 0, such as 1 plus -1, its opposite is 0, right? So that's what it is. So Alexis was shopping on the ground floor of the mall when she realized that she had left her phone in her car. She walks down 6 floors to her car in the underground parking garage. How far will Alexis walk to get back up to the ground floor? So let's take a look at how we convert this paragraph into math. Okay? So use the integers are whole numbers, on a number line to represent the situation. So you draw a number line, okay? So 1, 0, all the way to -6, because she, -6 represents Alexis' position after she walks to her car. And so ground 0 is where the mall is at, okay? So then she parks all the way down on the 6th floor below ground, and this is where she is parked, right? So, so the integer 0 represents a location of the ground floor, okay? And the absolute value of -6 represents the distance in floors that Alexis walks down to her car. Okay, so she's going, while the car is parked at the 6th floor underground, which is -6. The numbers of floors that she walks down is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, she walks down 6 floors. So, so the absolute value of the +6 represents the distance in floors that Alexis will walk up to the ground floor. Okay, so we are dealing with the absolute values of opposites at this point in time. So, and let's take a look further down here. So when we're talking about the absolute values, any number inside these 2 numbers that are, any numbers that are inside the straight brackets is considered that you need to get the absolute value. So the absolute value of -6 And you should know or recall that absolute values, anything that goes inside, comes out a positive number. Okay? So the absolute value of -6 is +6. And the absolute value of +6 is 6, because everything will come out positive. So we have 6 is equal to 6. So -6 and 6 are opposites. Opposite quantities combine to make 0. And then the absolute values of these numbers will always be positive. So Alexis will walk the same distance 6 floors in the opposite direction to get back to the ground. So then this is how we introduce and speak about the absolute values, and we're combining it to she walked down 6 floors and then she walked up 6 floors. The numbers of floors is 6. Okay? The negative numbers is the direction that she walked. -6, she went down. +6, she went up. Okay? But the numbers of the floors is still the same. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead and do the try it. Xavier climbed 6 feet up into an apple tree. What integer represents the direction, and how far will he climb to get back down to the ground? Okay, so we go ahead and make a number line. Okay, so he climbs 9 feet. Okay, now how far will he climb to get back to the ground? He's going to climb down 9 feet. So when you're climbing down, you're going to have a negative number because that shows you the direction. Okay, so the integer -9 represents his climb down. Okay, so it's showing a direction. So that direction being down, so therefore it's going to be a negative number. Okay? And so the integer 0 represents the ground. Okay? So he started off at the ground level. Now let's take a look at the convince me as part of the try it. How are the absolute values of opposite integers related? So let's take -6, put it in the absolute value bracket. So -6 comes out as 6. The +6, because -6 opposite is +6, you put that in the absolute value and it comes out +6. So how are absolute values of opposite integers related? Okay, again, any number inside the absolute value brackets comes out a positive number. So the absolute values of opposite integers are equal. There you go. They are equal, and we tested that by utilizing this as an example. All right. So next, we will go ahead and get into example 2 and example 3. Okay. So example 2, combine opposite quantities. All right, so we're combining opposite quantities. Samuel has $20 in his savings account. Before he makes a deposit, when you deposit, we're adding. He's adding $160. After 2 weeks, he withdraws. Withdraws means a negative, so we're going to take away 160. So 60, 160, minus 160. How did Samuel's savings account balance change? Okay, so the initial amount in his savings account was $20. So he deposited $160, so he had $180. Then he withdrew $160, and he came back down to 20 because the initial amount that he had in his account was $20. So 160 minus 160 is 0, so he's left with his initial balance of 20. So the amounts deposited and withdrawn are opposite quantities and combine to make 0, just like we did here. Samuel's account balance did not change because the amounts deposited and withdrawn combined to make 0. So he is left with his $20 because 160 minus 160 is equal to 0. Okay? Then $20 is left because he didn't spend any more than $160. All right, let's do the try it. The temperature was at 75 degrees. At noon, the temperature increased by 7 degrees to 82. By evening, the temperature decreased by 7 degrees. How did the temperature change? Okay, so the temperature is back to 75 degrees because 7 and negative 7 are opposites and equals 0. All right, so it's the same scenario as the first one. So the temperature is back to 75 degrees. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at example 3. Represent change using integers. All right, one winter morning, the temperature was negative 2 degrees. By 11 a.m., the temperature had decreased, gone down, by 3 degrees. So that's at 11 a.m. The temperature was now at 5 degrees. At 4 p.m., the temperature reached 0 degrees. So here it is at 4 p.m., it reached 0 degrees. So the integer, what integer represents the temperature change from 11 a.m.? At 11 a.m., it was at negative 5. And at 4 p.m., it was at 0 degrees. Okay? So at 11 a.m., it's at negative 5. And in order to get to 0, it climbed 5 degrees. Okay? So negative 5 plus 5 is 0. So the integer 5 represents the temperature change from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So this is what it was asking for. All right. So in our try it, let's go ahead and take a look at the try it. Okay. Shaniqua has $45 in her wallet. Here's her wallet. Okay, amount. She spends $4 on snacks and $8 on a movie for a total of $12. She spends a total of $12. What integer represents the change in the amount of money in Shaniqua's wallet? Well, she is subtracting a total of $12, so this equals the change. Okay? And how much money does she have left? So we take the total amount of $45 minus the change, what she spent, and we have $33 left. Okay? So that is example 3. On the next session, we will move into working on the word problems for this section. Okay? All right. Thank you very much.